Greetings and welcome my friends. You have come over to the poison side. This is Contagion, the Dimir Toxic deck as it should be. Obviously the aim of the deck is to tack on 10 poison counters to the opponent. That's clearly the aim of the deck, and to help us get there we do have some removals as well as a board wipe. The deck does play fast and it can draw us a lot of cards. But we need to in order to get our poison cards and fire them off. We are playing a full set of Experimental Augury. This will let us look at the top 3 cards of our library, choose one to put in hand and put the rest on the bottom. It's a great way to find a land if we are short, or another card that will add a poison. Because it has Proliferate, we prefer to fire this off once the opponent already has a poison counter. We're playing a card draw combo and the Eidetic memory is the first piece. With this enchantment in play we will not have a limit on our hand size. As a bonus, we'll even draw a card when it enters play. This will let us fire off Inspired Idea for its low cost and not suffer the penalty of having our hand size reduced. We have the full set of Prologue to Phyresis, the card that adds a poison counter to the opponent then replaces itself. Ideally we have one of these early to get the ball rolling. Go for the Throat is an excellent removal. It will be here to save our lives from early men. I have considered exchanging this for the Black March, which is more Mowen intensive but gains us life. Testing is still underway. Case of the Ransacked Lab is an excellent card in this deck. All our 2 mana cards will be just 1 mana with one of these in play. This effectively accelerates our deck. With 2 copies in play our 3 mana cards are 1 mana to play. The Insanity will be fully unlocked then. Because of our cheap spells, it becomes very easy to solve this. Inspired Idea is our powerful card draw spell. Normally it will draw us 3 cards, but with the help of a pair of Ransacked Labs we can pay 1 mana for this and draw 5 cards. In most cases you will want to wait until you have a memory in play before firing one of these off. Witness the Future is a fantastic way to get cards from our grave back in our library. With the amount of draw we have, this is a rather critical ability to have. Plus it replaces itself, which is awesome. The Fall is more removal that also adds a poison counter to the opponent. The great thing about it is we can fire this off even when they don't have any men. It doesn't target, so protection spells will not work. Devious Cover-Up is more backup to prevent decking. A very real problem with this deck. It's a great counter since whatever we hit with it will be exiled. At 4 mana it is expensive, but there really isn't many cards we are looking to counter, and later on when we have a pair of solved cases this will cost only 2 blue mana. Deadly Cover-Up is our sweeper. If we need to wipe out enemy men in numbers this will do the trick. And as a bonus we can collect evidence and take out a key piece from their deck in hand. Our lands include 3 Raffine's Tower. The land we can cycle. 2 Undercity Sewers, the new Surveil land. We're playing a minimal amount of lands that enter play tapped. From turn 3 onward only these 5 lands will enter tapped. We have a full set of Shipwreck Marsh, the dual in our colors. 6 swamps and 9 islands round out our mana base. We've invested more in blue mana than black since we only have 3 cards that need swamps. Playing the deck can be fun, but it can also be frustrating when you aren't drawing into the right cards. But overall it does well and often plays more like a combo deck. The key to winning is getting a case or 2 in play, then taking advantage of the reduced cost to rapid fire a group of spells to solve the cases. Then we draw more cards than we can play out to poison the opponent and win games. Enemy men will be our greatest enemy, so feel free to change the deck around to include more removals. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is Joni GG, no wait, it's Joni QQQ. We're opening up with an all-blue 2-lander. What I like is we have a memory and an Inspired Idea. Those could get us somewhere as long as we draw a 3rd land on time. Heap. Looks like our opponent is in Dimir also. Let's find out if they have counters. Not a counter, it's a Siphon Insight. Good luck with that, lol. We're not going to have anything that's all that useful for them. We drew our 3rd land. It's a tap land, which isn't so great, but it'll work fine. And it looks like they took a land from us with their insight. They passed the turn after only playing a land. We'll give them their first poison. Let them eat cake. Poisonous cake. They fire off their insight again once we tapped out. They are afraid of us having counters. I mean, we do, but I wouldn't counter an insight. They are not getting anything useful from us. This turn is all about getting our case in play. With what we have in hand and the augury we're drawing next turn, we might be able to solve the case. That's kind of tossing a card out. A robbery for 3 is useless. We did lose our augury that was on top though. That does suck. I'm not sure if we should try to solve our case now since we could potentially whiff on drawing more 1 mana cards. We could draw 3 and set ourselves up for trying again on our next turn. That's our memory they're playing out. It's good for 1 card. And they do have an augury as well. We drew into another case. We should be set unless they have a counter. Let's play out the case and see if it lands. Our 3 drops will be 1 mana if it lands. They fire off our augury they stole. Maybe they are digging for a counter. It's another insight instead. I'm pretty sure those are not going to win the game for them. We'll be able to pop off on our next turn and crank out some poison. They are believers in the new millstone. It's another card that's not great against us. We'll fire off a fall at the end of their turn. This gets them to 2 poison. We won't win on our next turn, but we'll be very close. Alright, here we go. Augury for an augury. It would be great to chain a bunch of spells and get their poison count way up there. A second augury for their poison count. And then we'll follow it up with another augury. We'll take the Prologue to Phyresis. It will replace itself, so that's why we'll take it over the fall. And now we'll get a bunch of the cards we just played back in our deck. Ready to finish them off next time around. Let's take a counter here, just to be sure we won't get milled out if they manage to fire off some crazy mill combo or something. There it is, both cases solved. Every instant and sorcery will now draw us 2 cards. Easy peasy, extra cheesy. Another robbery, lol. Sure bro, we should have them on our next turn. They totally tapped out to fire off an instant speed card on their main. GG's. Hey, it's low key. Say hi to Thor for me, bro. We get a 2-lander to start. This could work since we can use an emergency augury to find a 3rd land. Plus we have a case and those are critical to our success. Heap. Your pants. On. They say hello so we'll wave back. Low key is a cool bro. Getting the island was clutch. We can now save up augury for after we get a poison on them. We hit 3 mana and it is time to go for our case. But you know, I'm getting a bad feeling. Let's hold off for now. We'll keep our mana open and see what they do. They pass the turn, we'll fire off a prologue to get the poison going. Now that we're at 4 mana, we'll go ahead with our case. If they try to destroy it, we can still fire off an augury. And if they don't destroy it, we'll be on our way to winning. We untap with our case still intact. I'm pumped. And we draw into another case. You know what this means. They go for the plan Wrecking Bat. We could counter it, but then we do have a removal in hand that we can use for just 1 mana. And it adds a poison. They snipe their own bat, lol. I'm sorry bro, but that won't counter our removal. They'll still get a poison. We'll be able to solve our cases and get a huge advantage once we do. With excellent draws we might be able to finish this game out on our next turn. Poison is deadly. We fire off Witness and find a memory. This is going to get us set up with our combo. And we have the mana to play memory and solve our cases. One mana draw 3, Ancestral Recall is alive in Standard boys. They declare it GG's and blow up. This is Lunar Blade. No wait, it's Lunar Hate. They hate the moon. Bro, who does that? We get a 3-lander which looks alright. The problem is we don't have any removals. That's a big concern, but we have draw which could end up bailing us out. Heap. They are getting off to a slow start which benefits us since our start is rather slow as well. We hit 3 mana and it's time to download a case. As usual, if the case survives we'll have a huge advantage going forward. They drop a Preacher. Luckily we have a removal already lined up. We'll burn a Witness to try to find a land. We come up empty. The Prologue would be fine here since it does draw us a card, but what if we take the case? This deck is a monster once we have 2 cases down. And now we'll snipe their Preacher. There are some men we wouldn't have bothered taking out, but Preacher has got to go. No shoes, no shirt, No pants, no stay. A Dark Knight. That's no fooling around right there. We draw a memory, which is great, but we really need more lands. We'll turn the Dark Knight into a piece of real estate, then dig for a land. Sometimes the shuffler is so awful you have to have cards to find your own lands. A Paragon gets the Preacher back from the grave. On our turn, the only real play will be our sweeper. They play out a hopeless nightmare. From what we have in hand, the only card I feel we can give up is the Prologue. Oh, I see, it's plan toss cards to win. Sure bro. The snail will eat our counter. They make a lad and it looks like we're in a race to see who gets the most poison first. We'll play out the memory, then fire off our idea for 3 more cards. They are being strategically smart and snipe our case. That's unfortunate. But we do have a backup of each enchantment in hand already, lol. They Takanuma their Paragon back to their hand. We'll have to snipe it when it comes back for more. And suddenly we are drawing a hefty amount of lands. We couldn't get past 3 early on and now we can't stop drawing them. They snipe our case. That's 2 gone and only 2 left in our deck. Let's snipe their Paragon. Then we'll witness a bunch of stuff back into our deck. An inspired idea is what we want. Sure, we have to pay 3 for it, but it's 3 more cards. They legit went for the first chapter. After we have not played a single creature all game. We have turned into landlords. We're going to have to raise the rent. This is a joke, right? How on earth are we drawing all lands like this? At least if we have a land on top we can shove it in the grave. That we might actually want. Let's keep it on top. We'll take the go for the throat. All the land draws have made this go very bad. Oh no, we have to toss land. There goes all of it. I'll bet anything our last draw will be a land.
I am the Emperor of Kamigawa, and I will protect my people. Strike fast and strike hard.
Yeah, that's GG's. Absolutely amazing. This is black for March 11th. We all have to stand for something. We open with a 3-lander. Our lands, unless we draw basics, will make it so our first play will be on turn 3. That's still okay though. We do have a removal and a case. Heap. Early on we want as many lands as we can get. Well, at least 5 but not more than that until later turns. Our opponent is on Golgari, a bad matchup for us. They could easily have a lot of weapons against our enchantment enablers. We'll take the risk and play out a case. I'm not sure what that is, but yeah. We drew an augury, which means we can go all out and solve our case. First up is sniping their guy, then firing off our 1 mana blue spells. And we'll get them up to 3 poison. We just solved a case on turn 4, boys. How about those apples? They get a preacher down, but they need to come down with a lot of firepower. At least more than that, because we're on the fast track to getting them to 10 poison. We'll leave 2 mana up for our removal, in case they activate their man land. They are on the big booty men. That's a lot of defensive power, but you want to be doing damage. We'll fire off our removal and hit them for another poison. We can't finish them off this turn, but if we get memory down it'll go a long way to setting up our future turns. Specifically our turn that's 2 turns away. They've got a lot of men I haven't seen before. Props to them for trying out a deck different from everyone else. This turn we will case the joint. With 2 in play we'll be able to fire off our 3 mana spells for a single mana. Which is huge. We should be able to end the game on our next turn. Well, we won't get another turn, because they explode. GG's.